Okay, thank you for joining us, everyone. We are going to use this time together today to just review my expectations and guidelines for your creation of this stop motion style video to demonstrate muscle contraction. So if you haven't already, please pick up or open up the folder that I linked to, the Google Drive folder that has been titled Muscle Shuffle. That's the name of this paper model that we've constructed already. And now we're going to use that paper model in putting together and building a video, a stop motion style video, and that will help illustrate muscle contraction. So if you haven't already, pull up the guidelines. I am going to switch my screen to show the guidelines so that I can describe them to you. And if you have a question while I'm going, just feel free to unmute yourself and chime in, and I will address it as we go through. Okay, so let me get this done. Share screen, this one. Okay, let me get a little bigger for you. And then I'll put us down at the bottom. Over here, okay. Okay, so you have a link to this. This is in the folder, the Muscle Shuffle folder that I have attached the whole folder. So you can still see the printables that I gave you last week. You can still open up the contraction steps because you'll want to reference that. You shouldn't have to print it out. You could just have it open and use it to reference it, because that's going to tell you step by step what to do with the pieces of paper when you're trying to show animations. So I wanted to expand the idea of the paper model into using it into the video. So you're going to make a stop motion style video. So first thing you need is some sort of app that will help you with recording stop motion style videos. Now I'm going to make this half screen and still pull up, just in case someone like types a question. If your microphone's not working or something, I want to be able to see a little bit of our session here. Here, so, or chat, there it is. Okay, put that off to the side. You're welcome to just unmute yourself and chime in if you have a question, but if for some reason your mic's not working, I will also check the chat if I see a question pop up. Okay. Okay. So you're going to need some sort of technology to make this video, smartphone, iPad. You got to download an app. If you don't already have a video making app, I recommended two. There is one called Stop Motion Studio. There's a paid version, but you shouldn't need that. It just lets you do fancier things. The free version is good enough. Just heads up, the limitation on the free version is that, I don't want you to learn this the hard way, you need to take your photos within the app. So the free version, you're not allowed to take your pictures in your camera and then bring them in. That's something that the paid version is gonna let you be able to do. So just heads up in advance. If you're using the free version, which you totally should, it should be fine, then please make sure you open the app and set up your new movie that you're making and take your pictures in the app. So the app looks like this. It's this icon here. It's like a little movie film camera. The free one is a blue background. And you open it up, it's very simple, not a lot in it, user-friendly. The plus sign gets you a new movie, and you have to take your photos within the app. So what you should realize is when you're doing a stop motion video, you're gonna need to take a lot of still frames, and it's going to loop together to create motion. It's not an actual video, it's just still pictures getting looped together. So for example, also, let me get through the requirements first before we get into that. So I need to make sure that this is your creation. So if you would please make sure either your face or your name. At some points your face can work. At some points when you're doing the paper modeling, your face won't work. You're gonna need just the papers. And so your name could just be on a piece of paper in the background, like of every frame that you're taking. So that way that's gonna ensure authenticity that I know you made the video. So your face must be visible or your name must be visible throughout all the frames of the video. You're welcome to be in the video in the on-screen section. It would work best at the beginning in the intro or in the credits if you want to put your picture in there. If you don't want your face in it at all, that's fine, but I do need your name throughout it so I can see that you made it yourself. So that was video requirement number one. Video requirement number two, it's going to be stop motion style. So that's going to be many still images looped together to create a short video. So this video might only be under a minute long after you're done with it and, you know, working on it for like a week and a half. But it is still going to be cool because of the type of motion it creates. So for example, when you watch these tutorials I linked to, please do watch the tutorials. They were specifically for the two different apps I recommended. but you might find other tutorials just on stop motion and video in general, and that's fine. You're welcome to look at anything else you want. But basically, I saw something that said for a 30-second video, you should expect to have 300 pictures or something like that. So it's going to be a lot of images taken, looped together with tiny, small little bits of motion in between. So if you do this correctly, my big bold red note, you're going to have a video that's only 30 to 60 seconds long, but it's going to have hundreds and hundreds of images looped together. And then my reminder there is don't take the photos in your camera app. You have to actually use the free version of the app and take the photo within the app. And then once you make your movie, you're able to actually just save it to your camera roll. So you'll have it in your camera roll, and that way you can upload it to Google Classroom. Some people might want to put it into iMovie and make any other special additions to it with iMovie. iMovie is a free app that is on most iPhones if you have an Apple product. So what's going into your movie is on the bottom of the guidelines. That's the content and scene requirements. So I'm just trying to think of it as like an intro, a macroscopic view of contraction, microscopic view of contraction, and then an end. So my thoughts for the intro is something that you can do. You can be creative with it. For me, I happen to have this whiteboard and a marker. So for my intro, I would probably just write out one letter at a time. So I'm going to write out my name. So I'm going to write G and then take the picture. I'm going to write I and then take the picture. Obviously, I won't pick it up every single time. I would have it staying flat on the floor on the counter, and I would take the picture and then write the N and then take the picture and then write the A and then take the picture. And do it step by step so that in stop motion style, someone's joining us now, let me let them in. A little late, but better late than never. Okay, welcome. So in stop motion style, you do one letter at a time and then take the picture. It's gonna look like it's kind of typing itself out when you loop the video together. So that's one way you can do it. If you wanna, it obviously could be on paper, it doesn't have to be on a whiteboard. Just saving paper by writing on a whiteboard or chalkboard. If you want to do it on a computer screen where you type things and then use your phone to take the picture of the screen, that could work, just depending on how the angle of the lighting, if you could take a picture of a screen. I'm flexible with that. You can be creative with what you have. Don't go like buy a whiteboard. You can just do it on paper with a marker or a pen or something. So that's the introduction. And that'll give you good practice with using the app too, with doing something just like lettering and writing out your name and getting a feel for how it works. The macroscopic muscle scene. So basically, like the first thing you're gonna do is show me muscle contraction in some way that you think is interesting. So you can just show me exercise. You can show me an arm wrestling match. Someone else is joining. Let me just do a quick admit. Better late than never. Hello, come on in. So dancing, exercising. It could be anything you want to do to demonstrate macroscopic gross anatomy muscle movement, but you have to do it in stop motion style. So if you are going to do arm wrestling, get a guest star to come and help you, but you're not going to actually arm wrestle fast. You're going to stop motion style arm wrestle. So you're going to have, I'll try to be two arms arm wrestling. So you'll have your arms come in and take a picture. Come in and take a picture. Come in and take a picture. Clasp together, take a picture. So small little incremental movements that will then loop together and make it motion, stop motion style video. And then when you're arm wrestling, it's gonna be like, you can have it planned out who's gonna go which way, which way, which way, which way, which way, which way. Take a picture with every tiny little motion going all the way down till you get the winner. That's just one example. If you're doing a pirouette or if you're doing something gymnastics, a back bend, that might actually be hard to do stop motion style because you can't really do a back bend in small little increments. So think about which macroscopic choice you want to do, because it should be something that you can do in small increments and use your body in small little movements. So that's number 2 on the content scene requirements. Number 3 is the microscopic muscle contraction. So that's where your paper model comes in. And you should just have whatever background setting be the same throughout all of the pictures of the paper model. It could just be like a clear blank space on a table or blank space on the floor. If you have something as a backdrop, like a board or whatever, just have something that's not a distracting background, so that when you're taking your pictures of your paper, you're gonna do small incremental little
ice in that fridge is driving me crazy, Annie.
What's that?
Oh, was I talking? My bad.
Hi. Yeah, you got your mic on. You got your mic on. You know how to mute yourself?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. I thought you had a question. You're welcome to unmute yourself if you have a question at any time. So with the paper modeling, that's going to be how you do your microscopic muscle contraction scene. That's going to be number 3 on the content, and you have to do it in small increments. So look at the directions I have included in the folder. I did happen to print a set out in small slides. If you do print them out, don't waste paper and make them big slides. You can print them in small slides. But you're just going to do, for example, it says contracting muscle number 1. So you'll show the relaxed muscle, set it up like they show you in the picture. Set it up like that. And then for contracting muscle number 1, they're going to tell you what to do with each of the pieces. It's telling you where the calcium binds. So you're not going to just take one picture of that particular scene like you see it in the directions. You're going to show like the calcium moving towards where it's going to bind. So it's like, you know, like 5 little incremental steps of the calcium moving towards where it's going to bind. That way it'll look more like a video rather than just pictures of each contraction. So I would say it really depends on what's happening in each step, but try to go for like maybe 5 different increments of what's happening for each of these muscle contracting steps. So it looks more like motion when it's actually put together and looped together. So that is scene 3 in the content scene requirements. And then the last part 4 is just some sort of end credit. Give credit to outside sources, guest appearances. You can make this funny or cheesy, or I don't know how. This is totally up to you. Just show it's an end. It could be something simple like writing VNTHE, you know, writing it out letter by letter with the stop motion, 1 frame per letter. That's fine too. Get creative. I don't know. I never did this before. I did this style of video in my genetics class this semester, where they did it with mitosis and meiosis, and they were showing the chromosomes moving around. And it worked pretty well. The app worked well. It uploaded, well, they had to save their video to their camera roll, and then they were able to upload it to Google Classroom. It worked very smoothly with pretty much everybody. So I don't anticipate any tech hiccups, hopefully, as long as Google Classroom is behaving itself on the day you try to upload. So time frame wise, this was my plan for us to do this week anyway. And this is a short week, if you consider that we have holidays and holy days this week. So my plan is you're doing this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week. And then this is also your assignment for Monday and Tuesday of next week when we are supposed to be off, but I technically have to assign you something. And I'm also going to send you on next week on Monday, I'll post it in Google Classroom, there's going to be an attendance question. So I'm going to post a question that just says, tell me where you are in your stop motion video on Monday morning of next week. And you could just write me a sentence or 2, and that's your attendance marking so that I can take attendance, because I do have to take attendance now weekly. So that's my plan. So Jason, what's going on? Are you texting me, Jason? Just speak up, take your microphone off. Close, why is this not closing? Oh, because it's this way. No, different Jason, I guess. Okay, so that's my thoughts. Do you have questions? Let me come back to looking at you, so I'm not just looking at my document anymore. Participants, let me go to the big grid view. Yay, I see as many of you as I can. Okay. So chime in if you have a question, unmute yourself, and just start talking. If you can't mute, if you have no microphone, just type in the chat. Making you bigger so we can see more of each other. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure, no problem, Alexa. Well, okay, no problem. Any questions about the project? You might have questions as you start it, obviously, and that's welcome too, of course. So please, if you do have a question that would benefit the whole group, can you type out your question in Google Classroom? There's, you know, like you could just type comments in the stream, I believe it is. Or you might even be able to type it directly under this assignment. That might be better, so we can keep it all contained. That way everyone will see it, and then whatever I respond, everyone will see as well. So that's my plan. If you forget to do it and you send me the question privately and something comes out of it, I'll put it in the classroom just so everyone can see it. I think it'll be fun. I hope it's something worth your time in doing, using our time together. Just a reminder that for St. John's credits, they are still requiring a number grade. So everything that I assign you is going to get graded numerically, just like we were in regular school, because in the end of the quarters or the end of the term, I have to convert St. John's, our numbers into St. John's letter grades. There's a difference between an A and an A minus, a B plus and a B. And so I need numeric ratings for that. If the district says for high school grades, everything's pass fail, then that's obviously just going to get converted from whatever numbers you've earned to passing or failing for your high school score. But for those of you who are doing St. John's does still need numeric conversion to their letter grade. Just keeping that in mind, you're going to keep seeing numeric grades from me at least. I don't know how your other teachers are doing it. Okay. I don't know about the testing. St. John's usually requires a final because there is a final in your course average, but I don't know how the district's going to handle that if we're at home still in June. That's just a question that needs to come from administration, and I don't think they have that answer yet. Anybody else have a question? Please, you're welcome to unmute yourself, or you can type it in the chat. No? I'm excited to see what you put together. If you want to show me what you have when you have like progress starting to be made, I'm happy to look at it and give you advice. There's things you can change in the app, like how fast the pictures loop. So play around with that. You don't want it to go too fast. You want to be able to see it, but you still want it to go fast enough so that it kind of looks like motion. So what I've read from tutorials say usually about 8 frames per second or whatever measure they have. 8 is like a good recommended for the looping process, but you can play around with that. Okay. Any other questions? Does anybody want to just chime in and talk just to say hi? No? Okay. So, oh, yes. Hi, Rebecca. What's up?
I think this one's a little too early.
What's too early?
The Zoom call.
Well, this is later than our usual allotted time. You know there's a schedule, right? Have you seen the color-coded schedule?
Yeah.
Yes. So technically, I have to not compete with other subjects. So this is the schedule that you should be going by. And yeah, on Mondays, our time is early. It's usually science at 9:45. But a lot of people take AP Physics or take AP Bio or take other sciences. And so I was told I can steal from E&L because none of you are E&L students. So that was my goal for this one. I'm going to steal from my genetics class. I'm stealing from the tech engineering period too, because it's hard. I have to also balance my 9th grade bios. Okay. I can't make it much later because then I'm going to impede on other subjects. Unless we go after 3 o'clock, and then I'll probably get in trouble from that too. You could still be in your pajamas and turn your video off if you don't want us to see it, if it's too early. So try to just stay on a regular school schedule. I know that kind of goes against teenage habits. You know, don't stay up too late. Wake up regular schoolish time. You got a little extra time. It's 9 o'clock instead of 7:30. That's a big difference. So just try to keep your body on somewhat normalcy. Don't throw yourself off too much. Do I know if Regencies are canceled? I do not know confirmed, but I know the Board of Regents was meeting today, and I believe they will be canceled if that has not already been announced. They are meeting actually today, the New York State Regents Board. There's some chatter going on my JFK Science group chat. Yeah, someone said, oh, I saw it in a mom's group. Yeah, no confirmed source yet. Regents Board is still meeting. Oh, yeah, a PTA group posted that they're canceling it. So PTA is pretty reliable, but I would wait to see that the actual state government puts it out there and it makes the news. But that should be what's happening. Regents should be getting canceled. And then we'll see what the district directs us to from there. I gotta tell you, I'm getting information pretty much the same time that your families and you guys are getting information. Mr. Owenberg and Mr. DiTomaso are sending stuff out to teachers pretty much the same day, or maybe the day before that you guys get it. So I promise I don't know more than you. Any other questions? Okay, If there's no other questions, then I'm going to end the recording and post what we have, and I'll post a link to it for anybody who needs to go back and look at it if you want, or if you were unable to join us. Hopefully we'll see you next time. Thank you guys. It was nice to see you. Have a good day. Oh, Jacqueline has a question. Jacqueline, how do we make stop motion video of pieces if it's all taped together already? No, that doesn't come apart, Jacqueline. If you're still there, Jacqueline, you're just gonna go and look at in the Muscle Shuffle folder. I put a set of instructions that you don't have to print. I just printed them for myself. You can open up the set of instructions and it tells you step by step. It says muscle contraction and it tells you this is how it starts. So that's how you'll set it up to begin with. And then you look at contraction. Step 1, read the directions, and they're showing you what pieces you use and what happens to the pieces. So like one of the main things in step 1 is the calcium. So you're gonna show small little incremental images, like 5 different images of calcium moving closer to the calcium binding site. But you won't have to take it apart. You should have all of your pieces already made. You should have this guy made. You should have, oops, I'm dropping things, this guy made with the yellow pieces that go on it and slide. And you should have the 8 little, 4 different calciums and the 4 different ATPs, and then the little phosphates and the ADPs that gets put together. So just follow the directions, it'll help you. How long do I think the video will be? I don't know. It depends how fast you loop it. Depends on how much macroscopic you do, like that section. I'm thinking less than a minute, because it's gonna be a lot of photos to even take it that long. That's my guess, but I haven't done it before, so you guys will be my guide on that. Any other questions? Okay, if you have no other questions, then you are welcome to bow out. It was a pleasure seeing some of you. Thank you for joining. Let me just go back to my more. I'll share, go back here.
Project.
Okay. And I'm going to stop the recording now. Thank you.